Kick it.
It's Candy. She's just so candy.
Welcome guys back to the Candy Internet Talk Show, and I have my extra special guest, Young Mac, Indianapolis, Indiana, baby. What is going down?
Not too much, man. Just working on some music, working on some shows I got coming up in the future, and just trying to walk a different path, if that makes sense to y'all.
Okay, so when we talked last time, a few years ago, you were working on your album. How did that go? Tell me what happened. Tell everybody what happened from that time frame on. What happened to previously Young C, now Young Mac?
Well, just to give you the short version, I had two close relatives of mine. They were twins. One died in the beginning of the year of 2014, and the other died in the beginning of 2015.
What?
And both of their initials of first, middle, and last name is MAC. So I kind of developed Mac because I've always had C, and it's just a coincidence that my mother's name is MAC as well. So I just went from Young C to scoot it over and put the MA to represent my mother and, you know.
Your two cousins.
Exactly.
I'm so sorry about that.
Appreciate it.
Wow. So that's how you changed over from Young C to Young Mac.
Yeah.
So tell me about your actual, I don't want to say struggle, but what happened after the last time as far as your music's concerned?
Well, both my cousins were very influential in my life. Like, you know, always pushing me to do music, never give up, things of that nature. And but they wanted me to do more music that stood for something, represented something. Because I won't lie, I'll tell you straight up, when we was doing music, we was trying to appeal to the masses. We wanted to talk about what the radio was talking about, what's not going on in the world, but what's hot, epidemics and, you know, commodities and these sort of things. But for me, I wanted to change that, especially through them, losing them. I wanted to stand for something more, so MAC stands for Musical Artistic Creativity. So now I want to just focus my music on being more positive, motivational, uplifting, I guess you could say spiritual. And that's really where I'm at right now, working on these few new projects and getting prepared for these shows coming up in the summer and things like that.
So when you said that you did a tour,
yes,
and that was around what year again?
this was around the ending. I think I had lost my first cousin, and I was finishing up this tour. We were in Durand, Michigan, and I think I had got the call that, you know, his twin had just been taken. So that's when I was wrapping that tour up, and I really just like stopped doing music for almost 2 years now.
So let me ask you then, as far as the previous music that you recorded, what type of music was that? What would you classify that type of music as?
I guess the only thing we can call it is worldly.
Worldly?
Yeah, just secular music. I was just talking about the basics: sex, drugs, guns, and money.
Okay. And so then when you said, okay, so tell me, because I know over the last couple of years, we've been staying in contact, and you sent me some of your songs and asked me my opinion on it, and I told you about some things, and I think a few of the songs we had a great connection because we were kind of on the same page.
Right.
Tell me about that project at the time.
Musical Artistic Creativity, which was an EP I did the beginning of October of 2015. That was more about the transition. If you really pay attention to that album, and like the beginning song was called Dreaming, and I made a bold statement that, you know, y'all sleeping and I'm dreaming now, you know, because before I was sleeping when I'm money, cars, clothes, which that album talks about if you listen to it. Then you get to what I think it was track 4, which is All That I Know Is This Pain. And that song represented like everything from what I just said: sex, drugs, money, women, all of it. But I was trying to let the world know that I'm tired of it.
Right.
I'm actually tired of it. So it was just like, you know, I'm tired of this. That's what that EP did for me. It was my way out.
And I do know that sometimes when certain tragic things like that happens in our lives, it makes us sit back, look at what we're doing at that time,
Right.
and trying to reevaluate ourselves and see how we can, you know, go into the future a little bit different.
Right.
So now, even with that, where did, because I know the song that we kind of pretty much were talking about off camera, Groupie Love. Tell me where did that come about? Was that in the transition? Was it before? Tell me about that.
This has a story with it. I knew this young lady while I was doing the 10-city tour for Blake Shelby in Twister. I met a young lady who was, I guess, forced into the life of being a groupie. And God is my witness, I have no reason to lie about this. This woman threw herself at me. And I said no. And she cried. I didn't understand it. I didn't know why. I was just looking like, why are you crying? But the thing about it is that she was hurt. And she's never been rejected as being a groupie. And that's really how I developed that song. See, a lot of people listen to it and they're like, groupie, you know, show that groupie love. But I'm actually saying show that groupie some love. Like,
A different kind of love. And
change her life.
Okay.
Exactly. You know, show her some real love. Say no instead of saying yes.
Because I think that's what happened when I told you about my opinion about
Right.
the song, and then you kind of told me, well, it's not like that, it's completely opposite and things like that. So,
Right.
I mean, do you find yourself having to always re-explain what that is, or do you?
I think so sometimes because, like, I guess it's safe to say that people stereotype. And when you hear this song, that's what you see right out back. Like, my sisters was just like you. My cousins was just like you. They was like, oh, that's a groupie. And I was just like, nah, y'all not listen again. So they listened and listening to the lyrics. They started hearing me talk about, you know, being abused and how men talk to you. And my sister was like, oh, this girl had a rough life. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I was pointing out, you know. But I just want to give people the time to take their time. Because, you know, everybody takes a different aspect from everything. What I might take from it, you might not.
That's right.
You know, so I'm learning that now, and I'm just like, that's another thing I've been doing in my studies. I've been learning how to say something and say it so clear that there is no misconstrued. So that's something, I don't even know if rappers do that no more. But I lock myself in rooms now, reading, studying, and don't interrupt me. Like, literally, don't come in here while I'm in here for 4 hours. Reading and studying and deciphering and definitions and encyclopedias, because I want to be firm with what I say. I want you to understand that.
Okay. So, guys, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we're going to come back and we're going to find out where Young Mac is today, get his contact information, and what does the future hold for Young Mac here in Indianapolis, Indiana. We're on the Candy Internet Talk Show, and we're live, baby. Live, Live.